Hey folks, so in theory I should be live right now, but there might be some teething issues here, so I've got my YouTube here and we're just going to okay, yeah, see that and we've got volume and everything's good. Oh my goodness, right. So I think I can just close that because I don't need that there. We're going to do this on Instagram too. How exciting. So the way Instagram works is you start the kind of a live from your streaming software. So for lots of us that might be StreamYard. I'm doing something different just now. You start it on that and then you press an extra button on Instagram and that sends you live. Now the only thing that's bugging me is on Instagram I am horribly zoomed in. It's not a good look at all. But because Instagram is a portrait thing, you know, and YouTube was the opposite of portrait. No, Instagram, yeah, Instagram's portrait, YouTube's landscape. Oh, I'm just talking shit now. Right, we're going to go live over on Instagram, okay? So we'll hit that go live button. So we should now be live on YouTube and Instagram. How exciting. So hi to everyone on Instagram. I say hi to everyone. I can see, oh, I've got one on Instagram joining me. Oh, I can see that Ferdiad and Chris, you've both joined the Instagram. So I've got you across both. So I suppose I should start off. I need to explain myself. I need to explain so much. First of all, why I'm late. You might say, Chris, you're always late. We're not surprised about this by now. And you would be fair enough. But the reason that I'm late tonight is because most of you know that I go to a Slimming World group. My mum is my Slimming World consultant. I help my mum, and the aim is to try and lose weight. It's not really working very well at the moment, but that's the aim. Anyway, I go to a Slimming World group, but they were running a consultant opportunity event. So that's kind of like a meeting where you go and find out about becoming a Slimming World consultant. Now, again, I was there mostly to support my mum, bit of curiosity and wanted to find some stuff out, but it was mainly to support her. Something that's just occurred to me actually, because I'm using different software, I should probably check that. Oh yeah, my microphone's fine, it's picking up through the right mic. Right, we're good. So yeah, I wanted to go and support my mum and also just go and find some stuff out. So I was there. Now it was meant to go from 6 PM until 8 PM and I go live at 9, so I thought plenty of time. 8:45, 8:45 was when I get out there. In fact, no, it was after that because it was 10 to. It was 8:50 when I put the message in the chat and said that was me racing my way home. So, that's why I'm late. Why we've got all the kerfuffle with new software and all that. I wanted to explore going live across Insta and YouTube. StreamYard doesn't let you do it on the free plan, and I only use StreamYard for this going live used. And I wasn't going to, because it's really quite expensive. They charge quite a lot for it, so I wasn't going to pay for it just to go live once a week, just so that I could go live on Insta as well. But I wanted to try it, so I decided to go with a totally different streaming software. And just to make things extra complicated, you'll know that I usually use OBS Studio, which is what lets me do amazing things like this, you know, hi, table camera. you know, I usually use that, so I'm using that, but but I usually just use that as a camera. Essentially, I do all the stuff in there, and I say make OBS my camera, just show whatever OBS is showing on the, you know, through StreamYard. That's the way I normally do it, but just because I'm a glutton for punishment and I wanted to make things extra complicated, I know Instagrammers, you've just when I'm doing that camera thing, you're only seeing the table. I'll fix that if and when I do change to the table. I'll move things about and try and get it so that it's the best for both worlds, if that makes sense. YouTubers, it might mean that when you're seeing the table, my face might be in the middle rather than over at the side, but hey ho. But anyway, I'm doing it through OBS and a platform called Restream, which lets you stream to 2 destinations on the free plan rather than just the one. But OBS is actually doing a lot more. So essentially, everything is routing through OBS for a change. So this is new. It seems to be working well so far, which is good. And you've got me across 2 things. Now the only thing is, whilst the YouTube chat is pulling through to OBS, the Instagram chat is not. So I've got to have 2 chats open here. It's a shame because on other platforms, you know, Instagram seems to be the one that's awkward. It doesn't let you pull through chat to other places. You need to do it through the actual Instagram live chat. And there's great like programs where, because you know we have the issues like when we multi-stream, where like you know if you're in one person's chat room, you're only seeing the chat in that chat room. So what OBS has got is it's got like a bot that basically looks at the whole thing and copies people's comments over to the other place so that everybody sees everything. So OBS has that, but because Instagram chat doesn't like to comply with it, it doesn't work. So I'm having to have 2 chats. You won't be seeing each other. What I would say is that there's not as much happening on the Instagram chat. The Instagram chat also seems to disappear, so I'm going to need to make sure that I do keep an eye on that. So I can see that on Instagram, I'll do Instagram first so that I don't lose lots of chatters. I can see that we've got Ferdiad there, we've got Chris there, Simon's even joined on the Instagram live. And I don't know why I said that, like, oh, Simon doesn't do Instagram. Simon does do Instagram. Donna and Marita. Marita says hi. Hi, Marita. It's awkward because I'm looking over at my other screen that I've got Instagram on, but I'm conscious that then means that, in fact, do you know what I'll do? I'll move Instagram over here whilst I'm talking to you on Instagram. So, hi, Marita. We've got, I think it's Maria, Lady Knight of Avalon, but correct me if I'm wrong. Apologies if I've misremembered your name. Donna says hi. Chris says orange heart and a wee wavy hand. Hi, Chris. I'm hoping that is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that is Chris. Deanne's joined and said, hey, catching you on Instagram. And then Marion Kate Arrow's joined, our lovely Marion. So Marion, I'm live across 2 things just now. How exciting. Look at me being all technological and stuff. Let me come down the YouTube chat, and again, because I'm not using StreamYard as usual, I don't know if I click on things. No, it doesn't let me. Oh gosh, we don't want to add Ferdiad to any block lists. What I was wondering was whether it would let me highlight the comment, you know, but it doesn't seem to let me do that on the OBS chat. So, oh, and I think I might be losing some chat there, so let me. Okay, here we go. Tony was, I think, here first, says, oh my gosh, am I on time? Simon says, hey up. So hi Tony, I've not said hi to you already. And who else have we got? Chris is here as well on the YouTube chat. And Ferdia, did I say hi to you already? Our lovely Jelly, hi Jelly, how are you? I'll need to work out how I can kind of highlight the OBS chat on, bring it up on the screen like I usually do in StreamYard. We've got Donna here on YouTube. We've got it's all the same names. I'm trying to find anyone. Moomintaro, hi Moomintaro, how you doing? And Jilly said, no worries Chris, take your time, we're all chatting up a storm here. Jilly, I need to check my messages because I sent you a message. I don't think I've heard back from you. Jilly, if you are able to, if you're still here and you're able to, if you could check your your Facebook Messenger, your instant messages, and give me a quick thumbs up or thumbs down, I would really appreciate it. And you'll see why I'm asking in a wee second when you look at it. Marita, hi Marita. Patrice, hi Patrice, how are you? Lovely to see you. Forever Wear After, hello. Lovely to see you, how are you doing? Epox, hi Epox, how you doing? Trisha. Lovely to see you, Trisha. And I think we're getting to the Kelly Reid Stuff. Hi Kelly Reid Stuff. Lovely to see you. And I think that might be me down to the bottom of the chat. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I do really appreciate it. I know that it's a wee bit messier tonight just because I'm trying to work everything out. I know if you're on Instagram right now, you're pretty much seeing the side of my head for the next couple of minutes because I'm reading the other screen. Again, sorry. But I'm going to try and keep my focus to the centre, because if you're on Instagram, you'll know that it's well, it's not exactly my best side that you're getting, is it? Star and Flurry Taro's joined. Tony joined on Insta as well and said hello, hi Tony, and Deanne sent some lovely love hearts. So, how is everybody doing? Has everybody had a good week? I have to say I've had quite a good week, I think. Work has been busy but productive, and my team continue to be amazing and awesome and the best team in the world, so I'm a very happy chappy this week. Yeah, and have I seen you since I did the market? I feel like I have. I don't think the market was that weekend there. I think it was the weekend before, wasn't it? So I can't remember if I told you how it went. The market went well. I just got roasted alive because of where I was. It was under a glass ceiling. I got a feeling I have told you. I think I might have moaned about it for a while. But yeah, that was. I need to invest in a fan, basically, is what the situation is there. Jelly says, shall we try this for the live you're joining me on next week? So Jelly, I wouldn't know how to set this up so as that you would be able to join me, but that is something that I will definitely work on. But I wouldn't know how to get it set up on someone else's system. I know it took me it was difficult enough to pair it up with my own YouTube and stuff. If this is what you're meaning, if you're meaning like using OBS and going across two platforms and all that, it's been blooming well complicated, let me tell you. But I got there, and I'm kind of piecing it together bit by bit, so we're doing okay. Ferdinand says, you miss 1 week and Chris puts you on the block list. As if I would. I've just seen Chris's comment. He says, Technomancer now, very impressive wizardry. Oh, thank you very much. Tony says, yes, Christopher needs to change his name to that. Who's that? Oh, Jelly says, same, I'm confused, so let me see, is it me that's confusing people, or are you just... I'm impressed by all the tech talk. Right, okay, right. Because I'm talking techie stuff. Right, sorry, yeah. It's probably actually quite off-putting for a few people, so apologies if that's the case. Yeah, I'm just... Do you know that way? You know what I'm like? The first thing I usually do when I get live and when I get on here is I'll just offload on you all whatever it is that's going on in my brain, because it's the only thing that will then let me concentrate for the next 2 hours, you know? So, yeah, apologies if that got awfully technical, awfully fast. So, right, Jelly says yes, which is the main thing. The thing that I was asking Jelly is, so I've talked before about Jelly's, Jelly, what did we decide we were going to rename it to? But it's Jelly's moon guide that Jelly does. So Jelly does what's the best thing to call it? It's basically like it's got a, Jelly's planning on making it a monthly thing, I think. Again, Jelly, jump in and correct me if anything I'm saying is wrong. But Jelly's going to make it a monthly kind of a guide, tarot moon guide type thing, and it's a fantastic wee booklet, like kind of a thing to look through. It's got lots of lovely stuff in it. It's got the first one had a recipe in it. There's information about each of the zodiac signs and what's going on in your sign and that type of thing. You know, the idea is you have it in paper and you kind of write on bits and scribble in margins, and coffee rings will be on it and it'll get crumpled up when you're taking it, taking it about with you. But the thing that I was asking Jelly is, Jelly has a tarot spread in it, at least in the first one there's a tarot spread, and it was for the Lionsgate, which I know was actually last week, wasn't it? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it was 6 days ago, so it was last Friday. So really I would have been better doing this last week's live. But she has a tarot spread in it, and I said, would it be okay if I use your tarot spread for the Sip and Sling? And very graciously Jelly has said, yeah, that would be okay. So if anyone's got it already, then amazing, look it out. You may well have already done the spread. Up to you whether you want to do it again and pull new cards for it, or if you want to just talk about the cards that you pulled, and maybe get new insights on your cards or whatever. But that is what we're going to do for the spread, which we'll do a bit later on. I'm not coming on to that quite just yet, but we'll do that later. And we'll all do that together in the usual way. So we're going to use Jelly's moon guide. Let me see. Can't decide whether I want to go by the OBS chat or the YouTube chat. I've got them both. Yeah, the YouTube chat I can see when you tag me, it comes up in orange. So, so Jelly says the September one will be out next week. So the next issue of it will be out next week. Now, let me tell you, Jelly is not asking for much for this guide. You know, and it is an absolutely fantastic resource. It is so worth the small amount that she's asking for it. So please consider. I mean, just supporting this fantastic little lady, our beautiful Jelly. She's one of the best people in the whole wide world, and it's nice just to support her, to be totally honest with you. But for what you get in the guide, it's absolutely fantastic. So consider having a look. If someone is able to put, Jelly, or if someone else is able to put a wee link in the chat to where people can go and peruse, that would be great. Moomin Taro says, hi Chris, and Little Zencrone, one chat is hard enough to follow. Yeah, true. Simon's tagged me, he says, my week has been spent sitting in for engineers, but all sorted now. Cinema tomorrow, and last, oh, what are you going to see in the cinema, Simon? I went to see Fantastic Four at the weekend there, and it was really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think they've done a good job with it. I also seen Superman a few weeks before that, so there's lots of good cinema just now. It's funny, I've done all this like shenanigans so as that I can go live on Insta as well, and there's currently no one on Insta, which is fine, by the way. I'm not trying to get people over there, like the YouTubers that normally watch me on YouTube. I'm quite happy for you to be on YouTube. Probably makes my life a wee bit easier, to be honest. But it's funny how I've done all this and put myself through this stress, and right now it's for naught. But that's absolutely fine. I think it's still quite good to just be more present on my Instagram channel, because if I'm honest, I've probably just used it to promote YouTube and maybe things that I do locally. So it's probably good to be more present there. So I can always build that up. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, sorry. The Crone's Compass, that was it. That's what we were going to call it, or what you are going to call it. So the Crone's Compass, that's what we're going to refer to it as. Oh, thanks, Simon. Simon says, I like your brain dumping, Chris. There's no need to apologise. See, Verdiad says, info dumping is absolutely fine, part of your personality, and that's what we're here for. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Awfully technical, awfully fast, says Marita. I was looking for a jelly in chat. Oh, your accent is thick with Jilly's name. Sorry, Jelly. Our Jelly, Little Zencrone. Let's see. Donna, you've done your Lionsgate spread. Excellent. So I'll be excited to... Well, it's up to you whether you pull again or whether you're going to share the cards that you've already pulled with us. There'd be benefits to both, wouldn't there? So yeah, let us know what you're doing, what you plan on doing once you've made your mind up. I'm just going to find this in the OBS chat and keep going with OBS. Okay, there you are. So, and Jelly says, fuck yeah. Excellent. Let's see, Marita is using the Universal Celtic. Thank you for the spread, Jelly. Excellent. Do I need to know about the Lionsgate or to do or understand the spread? Nope, absolutely not. You do not. I'll explain each spread position in the usual way. And to be honest, you'll probably get to know it a wee bit more just through doing the spread, but there's no... You don't need to know anything. That's what I think anyway. Jelly, you let me know if that's not quite right. Jelly might be thinking, no, you do, you need to know these things. In which case, Jelly can very graciously tell us, I'm sure. Oh, you're so welcome, Jelly, and you deserve it. It's when Sirius, oh there we go, Ferdiad says, it's when Sirius aligns with the Sun and Leo. Supposed to be a really good time for manifesting, so there you go, manifesting. Marita's linked Jelly's YouTube channel, I'm not sure, yeah, and also linked to the Moon Guide. Thank you so much, Marita, that's fantastic. Weapons, is that what you're going to see in the cinema, Simon? Excellent. But wait till next week when September's is out, says Jelly. Let's see, I'm really far behind, says Ferdiad. I haven't seen Fantastic Four, Superman, or Jurassic Park. I've not seen the new Jurassic World either, and I've also not seen the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, or whatever it's called, but I want to. I want to see them both. I think they look pretty good. The trick is getting Sandy to come with me to see them. I think he'll come and see Jurassic World, but I'm not sure if I'll quite be able to stretch to getting him to see I Know What You Did. But we shall see. But yeah, let me know what you think if and when you do go to see them, Ferdiad. I should keep looking. I should make sure I'm not neglecting Instagram, shouldn't I? I should keep looking over and making sure. I can share the cards I already pulled. Lots of reversals, says Donna. I would expect nothing less. I could try out the cracked amethyst. Influencer Deanne would be proud. Excellent. I think Deanne might have had to head off by now. Deanne's wee boy Max has karate on a Thursday. I was going to say a Thursday evening, it's more like Thursday afternoon for them. So that's why she can't always hang about for the full live here. Let's see, Weapons is a horror and getting good reviews. Okay, well, let me know how it is, Simon, because you know me, I do love a good horror. Trisha, I definitely want to see I Know What You Did Last Summer. Right, okay, cool. If you see it before me, Trisha, you can let me know how it is. Ferdian says, surely Jonathan Bailey is enough of an incentive. Well, this is true. Do you know what I just watched for the first time last weekend? Do you know what I just watched? Wicked. I hadn't seen it. I've been to see it in the theatre, but I hadn't seen the film. You know, with Ariana Grande and that. I really enjoyed it, actually. I remember at the time when it came out, I was like, I'm a bit pissed off that they've made it part 1 and part 2. Don't know if I can really be bothered, and because of that, I didn't really go and see it. I remember having the conversation probably in this very chat, if not on someone else's live. Because I remember you talking about it, Simon. Oh, the other dogs go. I'm going to have to mute. I'm going to have to work out how to mute on this, actually. There's an issue. How the hell do I mute? Is that me muted? You need to let me know if I'm muted, because I don't know. Am I muted? Muted? Question mark? Or can you still hear me talking about like an idiot? I'm going to come off because now that's like 5-10 good seconds that I've been muted and... No, just quieter. Oh, that's odd. Okay. I don't know why it went quieter. In theory I should either have been muted or not muted, but never mind. I'll need to work that out. Work out how the hell, if I want to. So right now, what's happening behind the scenes that you just can't see is because the girls were barking, they were getting a row because they were being silly and just barking at the window for no reason. And Luna has come to hide beside me from her dad because she knows that Sandy's not going to come round in front of the camera when I'm live. Oh, there she goes. He's caught her. Sorry, anyway. What was I talking about before all that kicked off? I was talking about Wicked, and I don't really know if I had a point or if I was getting to a point. Who knows? Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Where was I? What was the last thing I seen in the chat? That will remind me. I see you saying not muted, blah blah blah. In fact, Simon saying shut up because I'd said I'd just seen Wicked for the first time. Oh, Someone said hi to Marion. Oh, there's Marion, come in, make evening all. Hi Marion, how are you? How you doing, lovely? Still live on Insta. I can see that people are kind of coming in and out, so I'll just keep chatting away to you. This is the thing, see, because I'm here anyway, there's no harm in me just leaving it there, and if nobody watches it, it's all good. No harm done. But maybe when people start realising that I'm going live every Thursday, or more or less every Thursday, you know, it might pick up a wee bit and it might be quite good. Anyway, so Jilly says, yikes, I took a loo break and you started talking about me. No, you don't need to know about the Lionsgate to do the spread, absolutely. Chris's mind's blowing. Simon's watched it 5 times, the Wicked film. The North Witch on Prime was a bit freaky. The North Witch on Prime. The North Witch on Prime. I'm not sure what you mean by the North Witch on Prime. I have seen it in the theatre but not the film yet, it says Golden. So you were like me. I would actually recommend it, Golden. I'd recommend watching it. It's actually quite a good film. And Wicked is brilliant. Like, the actual storyline of Wicked is fantastic. I love something that puts a wee twist on things. So definitely check that out. Simon says, I remember you were pissed off that it was in 2 parts. Yeah. I just feel as though when they do it, when companies do that, it feels dead money spinny. And I suppose I shouldn't be too annoyed about that, because money makes the world go round and we all need to make money, and these companies certainly need to make a lot of money to do what they do. But I don't know, maybe just something gives me the ick about it a wee bit. I don't know. What's your thoughts on the matter? Do you just accept it and it's fine, or does it give you the ick a wee bit as well? What do you think? So that was when I was asking if I was live. Sorry, if I was muted, and I wasn't. Tony was tempted to say yeah, just to wind me up. Jelly says the film's in 2 parts. So yeah, we've only had part 1, and I think part 2 is just coming out soon, isn't it? Simon, pretty sure it's a sequel, just like 20 years later. So it's the second part of the stage show, which, like, part 2 of the stage show is it 5 years later, Simon? You'll know better than me. I thought Wicked was amazing, said Ferdiad. Great performances and amazing design. Finishes with defying gravity, end of the first act. Yeah, and I mean, defying gravity is it's a really powerful song, isn't it? Like, it really gets you in the feels, I think. Like the old-fashioned movies when there was an intermission, says Jelly. Yeah. And Trisha's saying hi to Luna. That was when Luna was hiding behind me. Doggy hijacks, yeah. Counting down the days to the second part. How many days is it? When does it come out, Simon? I want to know what everyone is drinking. Not yelling, says Jelly. Jelly wants to know what everyone's drinking. What are you all drinking? I was supposed to have a cup of tea being made for me, but it appears that my lovely husband has forgotten. But thankfully, I've got myself a wee can of Iron Brew. So I'm going to open this, and I'm warning you that I'm going to open this because it always gives the dogs a wee fright when I open a can. So it might come across quite loud on the microphone as well. That's us. So I'm drinking Iron Brew. What's everyone else drinking? I know what you drank last summer, says Ferdiad. Lemon water for Donna. Haven't seen Wicked, don't think I could handle the singing, says Trisha. I'm drinking Rooibos tea. I don't know how to say that. I'm an uncultured swine, I know, but I don't know how to say that. Does it stay up on Instagram afterwards, Chris asked Simon. I think there's a way you can make it do that. I've not quite worked out what it is, or it might be easy enough, but I've just not bothered going to my settings and make it do that, so I don't think it will do it automatically. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. I really don't know that much about Instagram. I know, like, shamefully little, to be fair, considering I've been on the platform for years. Just finished my afternoon coffee, but I don't think that's what you were asking. Not an intermission, or depending on how you look at it. Marita's always drinking water. Tea for Trisha. Saw it in Broadway too at Christmas, which was an unforgettable experience, says Simon. Let's see. I'd love to see it in Broadway. I've seen it in London, says Verdiad. Tried to read Wicked 2 or 3 times and can't get past the first chapter. Robin's here and says hi. Hi Robin, how you doing? Lovely to see you. Tony's not seen Wicked. Verdiad says he's at the age where he can't have caffeine in the evening. Oh, so Rooibos with some almond milk is very comforting. Marion says, I read the Wicked book when it came out, loved it, but I can't do a musical. Do you know, that doesn't surprise me too much, Marion. I somehow couldn't imagine you like being at a musical and being able to be arsed with all of that. It's a tough read, Gilly, and certainly not a children's book, says Simon. Second part is 5 years on, yep. Roscoe's here, says, hey all, whoops, the night got away with me. I see I've missed some Wicked talk. I'm a fan of the book, the musical and the movie. Love it all and eat that up. Excellent. Cynthia nailed it, says Simon. Yeah, she absolutely did. The stage version is very different from the book. I loved the book when it came out, but it's very different. Okay. And it's coming out in November. Oh, I thought it was a lot sooner than that. Jelly's drinking a lovely glass of Pinot Grigio. Oh, very nice. That is my mum's favourite wine, Jelly. Robin, I hate breaks in continuity, be it weekly or yearly. I'd rather wait and binge the whole thing at once. Oh, as in, like, you would rather just wait until the second Wicked movie comes out and then see them both. I wonder if they'll do that in the cinema. I wonder if they'll have like a see them both, see it all in one. Might do that. Roscoe found an Iron Brew in Home Bargains last week that was unicorn tears flavour. It was quite nice actually. Oh, and what kind of flavour is that, Roscoe? Unicorn tears. They're doing some strange stuff just now, aren't they? Verdiad says, I'm actually okay with 2 parts for Wicked. They've done such a good job with part 1, although act 2 is going to be tough to make into a film. Rooibos, says Donna. So Rooibos is the Wicked film a musical as well? Wide Berth, says Tony. There are songs in it. There's no getting away for that. I thought it was going to be like Maleficent. I think Rooibos is a root or herb that can be steeped as a tea. And Moomintaro's asking, what did unicorn tears taste like? Yeah. They created a brand new song for part 2, which I'm glad about, as they need a big bang ending like Defying Gravity. It kinda ended on in a less impactful way in the theatre. See, the thing that I liked about part 2 though, and the way that it ends, is it marries up with The Wizard of Oz and also goes on. And for anyone who's not seen it, I'm not going to spoiler alert you, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it kind of goes on, and it's a really interesting, I like what they've done there type thing. So I actually enjoyed it, but you're right, in terms of the music it wasn't as big a you know, it wasn't quite the big finish that you would expect from that. But then, to be fair, Rocky Horror is my favourite musical, and the best song is like 5 minutes in or something. Like, all of the best music, I feel, is just in the first 15 minutes, you know? You've got Over at the Frankenstein Place, Time Warp, and then Sweet Transvestite, all in the first bit of it. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I like, you know, the floor show and all that, that's really, really good. But, yeah, I'm trying to think, does that, I know when you see it in the theatre, they always end it with, you know, a bit of a mishmash of the songs, which is always good, but doesn't quite end on a big high note song, you know. A tad like bubblegum, but not really. Okay, so that's the Unicorn Tears. Thrilled that Project Runway is back, but pissed they don't announce the loser of weekly challenges until the opening of the following week. That's maddening, says Robin. Rooibos, Red Bush tea, is the leaves of a South African plant that you can make a caffeine-free tea. Okay, nice. I think actually I once got my friend a box of Red Bush tea, but that's because she was a redhead and it was a bit of a rude joke. But I have to say she took it well. Like, I knew my audience with that joke, and it was, well, it's me, of course. It went down a storm and it was hilarious. But anyway, yeah. That's the only interaction I've ever had with Red Bush tea. I've certainly never drank it and don't really intend to, because I'm like, I don't really like funny teas. It's okay, Jelly, it's an Afrikaans word, so derived from Dutch. Okay. I thought they would taste like your 10-year-old life and flying. I'll say one word, trapdoor. Says trapdoor. No spoilers. So the Wizard of Oz does link up to Wicked. Yeah, Trisha, it does. It does. It's yeah. Touch Me is the best song. Oh, from Rocky Horror. No, I completely disagree. 100% disagree. Like, have you ever been to a wedding and they've been like, oh, we're going to play some Rocky Horror songs, and they play Touch a Touch a Touch a Touch Me? No. No. Time Warp, Sweet Transvestite, Frankenstein Place, fantastic song. Learned to play that on the piano, as well as Superheroes, actually. That was quite easy to learn on the piano. I love a load of the music. They're all really good. Ferdiad saying to Simon, if you know, you know. Although Superheroes makes my eyes leak, says Simon. Oh. Must admit, I did tear up at part 2 trailer as soon as I heard the chords of For Good. Spicy Tea says Chris, people are laughing. I take it that was when I taught the Red Bush tea story. I bet it was smutty, like when you're in My Lives, says Simon. I guess if she didn't, then she did once receiving our box of tea. Time Warp every time, says Golden. Sweet Transvestite is my go-to karaoke song for Roscoe. I just love science fiction double feature because all the classic film references. Yeah, I agree. I like that as well. Plus it opens the whole thing out, and you always get that giddy excitement in you when you hear science fiction, haven't you? Yeah, I like the kind of a start of the floor show. Rose Tint My World. That's a really good song. What's everyone's go-to karaoke, asks Ferdiad. Mine's, I don't really do karaoke, to be honest with you. I need to have quite a lot of drink in me before I would want to do karaoke. But I think if I was going to do it, I'd probably sing Proud Mary. Yeah, that's really the only song that I think I would want to to sing. But I think it'd be quite a good song, you know. Jelly's agreeing with the time warp. Simon says yeah, and the reprise when it then becomes about Brad and Janet. The floor show is a show within the show. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you're right, it is. Donna's never done karaoke. I'm conscious of the time. I know it's 10:05, but we didn't get started until 15:15, so I'm not worried about the fact that we're running a wee bit late, because we kind of aren't really. But what I do want to do is make sure that I can get this to be like, you know, get this to look okay on YouTube, obviously, as it always is. But I also want it to look alright on Insta, so I'm going to mess about here with the table cam. I'm going to shift myself over like this, and now that I've realised that I'm getting measurements, I need to make it exactly halfway, or that's just going to irritate me. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's put you back there. Let's 693 and 674, so you need to be over a bit. 81, 86. Oh, that's about as halfway as I'm going to get. Right, so that's looking good on Insta. It's very zoomed in on both. What I'll maybe try and do, so Insta are basically only seeing this kind of bit, as you can imagine, because it's, as I've said, it's portrait mode. So what I'll maybe do is the card that I pull in the moment, I'll maybe try and stick here for the end, you know, so that if anyone's watching on Insta, you can see something and you can see the current card. But yeah, I'm going to try and do this so that you can both enjoy it. Yeah, let me just zoom the table cam out a bit. I'm going to do this, and Instagram of course is quite behind. Got a wee viewer on Instagram. Hello Instagram viewer. I know that there's not as many people there. I'm casting to both Instagram and YouTube at the moment, and there's lots of people watching on YouTube, so that's why if you think he's delusional, he's talking to people that he thinks are here and they're not. There are people that I'm talking to. Look, there's two on Insta. So yeah, that's kind of a looking reasonable on Instagram. Now what tarot deck am I going to use? Now there is a question. What I maybe do is use a kind of a smaller deck. I think I'll use my Morgan Greer in a tin. So this is the deck that I'm going to use, Morgan Greer in a tin, and as I said earlier on, but for anyone who wasn't here when I said it, we're going to use the Jilly's amazing Lionsgate tarot spread from her last Crohn's. Oh my goodness, and I even voted for this name and I keep forgetting it. Our last tarot moon guide, it's the Crohn's something awful. So I'm going to use Morgan Greer. I'm going to turn on this light because I think you can see better when I turn it on. There we go. There's my keyboard. There are, I took a wee screenshot of it earlier on. Dun, 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 it was great when it all began. I was a regular Frankie fan. 1, 2, 3. There's 5 positions to the spread. So I should probably get my deck out and start shuffling. What deck is everyone else using? I can probably, if I put that there, keyboard can stay there so that I can type. What deck's everyone else using? And for Donna, if you're going to talk about the cards that you pulled before, for anyone who's already pulled for the Lionsgate spread, what deck did you use when you pulled for it, if you can remember? Give me all the goss. Let's see. I'll pop this here so there's something there on. So there's something there. The Crone's Compass, thank you, Jelly, and you probably need to remind me again. Right, let me catch up with the chat. Go to karaoke. Marita Loves All of Me by John Legend. Tainted Love for Simon. Mark still says, damn it, Janet. Chris, there isn't a pop Scottish tune you'd sing karaoke to, like the Proclaimers or something. No, I don't. Generally, I don't enjoy someone singing in a Scottish accent, although if anyone knows Nathan Evans, he's actually really, really good. And he sings in a Scottish accent. If you don't know him, look him up. Let's see. What did Donna say? Donna's never done karaoke, and Jelly's saying me neither for obvious reasons. Are you going to see the 50th year anniversary in the cinema next week? I didn't know about it, Simon, but I'll definitely look it up. Momontaro's go-to karaoke is Go Out of the Door. Go Out of the Door. But I once had to sing Incy Wincy Yellow Polka Dot Bikini and a Tokyo Bar, which was not a highlight of my life. Proclaimers 500 Miles, says Tony. That'd be one for me, says Donna. 500 Miles is a real crowd pleaser, but Sunshine is... but Sunshine on Leith is a much better song and lovely to sing. Trisha's never done karaoke before, but I imagine if I did, it would be a very drunk version of Friday I'm in Love. Marion says to Ferdiad that an ex of hers used to sing Sunshine on Leith to her. He had an Edinburgh accent, so it was perfect. Vindaloo, Kaiser Chiefs, Ruby, Sex is on Fire, all suitable karaoke songs for Tony. Someone in my grove found a copy of Morgan Greer in the street, perfect condition, and not a card missing. Was it an old copy, Ferdiad, or was it like a new one? Just listening tonight, says Golden. Migraine was a level results day today. Oh, sorry to hear that, Golden. Oh, it was A level results day. Sorry to hear you've got a migraine. Hope you feel better soon. Jelly's using the Maraloon. Robin influenced her to buy that deck. Simon's continuing the song. Ferdiad's using Morgan Greer. Alcento for Simon. Fly at me. I'm working with Fantasy Night Theatre Tarot, says Apox. Going to play with the Alcento for Roscoe as well, because Simon and Roscoe using the Alcento. Let's see. Oh god, these are continuing the lyrics of this. Had used the Tarot of Oneness for... Donna used Tarot of Oneness for the original spread. My love of a certain dope. I used the Witch's Wisdom in using Marilyn tonight. You're able to get into their first choice universities, says Golden. Excellent, that's great. Can't remember, but all cards were pants, says Tony. I'm using Sassy Dragons, says Marion. I'm at my mum's, so only one deck with me. Oh, fair enough. Hope your mum's doing okay, Marion. I'll message you later on. Maybe I'll pull cards and see how different they are from the first time. I have the old style tarot tonight, says Donna. Trisha is using the Llewellyn. Sosh is here and says, hello there Chris and everyone from Long Dog Rose and I. Currently stopped off in Gloucestershire using the Zoni Bolognese type of TDM again. See, Scott's here. Hi Scott, sorry I'm so late, I had to walk the dog and now it's finally cool enough. Oh, how is Kobe doing? Is he okay? Change my mind, says Roscoe. Realise I've not studied Alcento enough and might struggle with it. So going with Tarot of the Witch's Garden. Fair enough. Alcento looks to me to be quite Rider-Waite-Smithy. Although I know there is a lot of symbolism, like he's packed a lot in there and everything kind of has meaning. So I'm kind of at that, I would imagine you're the same based on what you just said, but I'm kind of that way where I would want to know you know, what's going on with everything rather than just reading it as another Rider-Waite-Smith. It wasn't brand new, says Ferdiad, but it was probably a modern printing rather than from the 70s. Very nice. And yeah, Golden's saying the A levels are like hires. Yeah, 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 that's fair enough. It's so muggy here. Yeah, it's the same here to be honest, Simon. And I've got this door closed because, well, I don't want to be pure broadcasting my live out to the street, you know. But it's roasting here. Okay, right, I'm going to stop yapping and I'm going to get on with this spread, okay? And I am going to post the positions across both chats. So, as I say, this is the Lionsgate spread. If there's any kind of any blurb or any kind of info that you want to give on it, Jilly, then please do feel free to. I've got the actual spread positions saved on my, just screenshotted and saved as a picture on my phone so that I could easily find them. So I'm just going to take a wee couple of seconds to centre myself and shuffle my deck without yapping, just so that I feel like I'm properly tuned in. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm going to spread my cards out like this and just pick as we do the spread positions. You can do that, or you can do whatever you want. Okay, so the first card, the first position is the gate. Okay, position 1 is the gate, and the prompt is, what opportunity is opening to me now? So on the gate, what okay, so I've got the Queen of Pentacles for this. Queen of Pentacles, and I'm just posting it in the Insta chat. Oh, post. There we go. So the gate. What opportunities are open to me now? Or what opportunity is opening to me now? Okay, so right away what I notice is she's looking to the right, which for me is into the future. So she's looking at what's to come. Okay, she's looking at opportunities that are to come. She's holding her pentacle. So it's either an opportunity to, you know, whether it's financial, whether it's money or some other kind of a form of resources, but to me this is about an opportunity to make money or spend money. Okay, so maybe a wee investment or maybe an opportunity to bring in some extra cash perhaps. So there's maybe an opportunity opening up to me right now. Funny actually, because obviously I am just back from going to that opportunity event. As much as it's not the right time for me, and I don't think that that's what, I mean, it's an opportunity opening up to me, but it's not one that I'm going to be taking up right now. So yeah, it's interesting that I get that when I'm just back from doing that event. The Queen of Pentacles also for me she's a kind of a mama bear, isn't she? She's a protector. She creates a safe space where people can feel they can be themselves, they can be vulnerable, and they can feel nourished as well. So the Queen of the Pentacles is a very physical suit, very earthy suit. So when you go to the Queen of Pentacles, she'll kind of be that shoulder for you to cry on. Very kind of a, you know, she'll show her affection and show her kind of a support for you very physically. She'll give you a cuddle when you need a cuddle. But she'll also like make you a hot cup of tea, you know, put a plate of soup out to you. Whatever you need, she'll provide it, and she'll be happy to do so because that's the type of person that she is. So it's about creating that environment. It's about an environment for where you can feel safe and looked after when you need to. So my mind's on that as well as what this could potentially be talking about. So what have you guys all got, and what do we think meaning wise? So I can see that Jilly has got the 8 of Wands, so to me that's an opportunity to progress. So Jilly, that could be the Crone's Compass. I remembered it. It could be the Crone's Compass. It's just starting off, but it has the opportunity. I think it's such an amazing, such a unique as well. I know you could find like kind of a things that do things similar, like bits of it similar, but to me the whole package, when you look at the whole thing that you've put together, it's very unique. It's very you, and it's just brilliant. So I think that this has the opportunity to do a proper 8 of Wands where it's like it's going to the new level. I always talk about the 8 of Wands and say the 8 of Wands is like when you kind of you kind of open up your wee shop, you open up your wee thing, you start your thing, you open up your wee shop thinking, I hope my shop does well. When you've got 8 of Wands energy behind you, that's when your wee shop becomes like a whole chain of amazing shops that you never even saw it coming. You never even thought that you could get to that level, but it just runs on its own momentum. Okay, so that's the analogy that I usually kind of use for the 8 of Wands. So I think that's talking about the Crone's Compass, but it could have a different meaning for you, Jelly. Does anyone know, Moomin Tarot's asking how long the Lionsgate portal is supposed to be open for? I'm not sure. I'm sure someone will know. Apox says Apox has got the Emperor, so maybe an opportunity to bring things into order, bring control to things that have maybe felt a wee bit chaotic, just get a wee bit of balance and structure, get balance and structure back, or maybe just bring a wee bit more structure into things to make you feel more comfortable, more in control of just life in general. That's the way that I would read that. And if anyone is, posting your cards and you either don't want me to talk about your card because it's personal to you, which is absolutely fine, or you're, you know what it means to you, and you're happy to put that in the chat, then please just say, just the Emperor, sharp dress, don't need your comments, or, the Emperor and this is what it means to me, or, whatever. Simon says, I'm going to sleep right on through it. Trisha's got the Four of Cups. Okay, so there's an opportunity there, but you're most likely not seeing it, Trisha, because typically in that Four of Cups, there is the opportunity, there's the thing being offered there, but the person's either not seeing it or not appreciating it, or it's not the right time. So there's an opportunity there, Trisha, but maybe this isn't the right time for you, or maybe there's something that you're not quite seeing. Let's see. The Wheel of Fortune for Marita. So, stars are aligning for you. It looks like, fate's got, what am I trying to say? I don't even know. What am I trying to say? It's like I've lost my ability to use the English language. Like fortune favours. That's kind of a thing. Fortune favours the bold. The Two of Swords. So opportunity to make a bit of a decision, I suppose, to decide if you feel that you've been on the fence about something. There's an opportunity to, jump off that fence. Two of Pentacles for Robin, either a challenge and choice or balance. Three of Wands for Tony, successful ventures, I hope so too. Queen of Swords for Chris, a perched hummingbird on the sword. It's given resonance, magnetism, grounded, very nice. So my queen is the kind of a touchy-feely, very physical queen who'll, like I say, fill your belly with a hot plate of soup if you need it. Your queen is the intellectual queen. So your queen is a very good teacher, and I think that that's good for you right now, just based on things that you've told me, Chris, that really good kind of that's good support with learning and stuff like that. That is an opportunity that you hopefully will appreciate and will make the most of. The Eight of Spirals, which is the Eight of Wands from Moon and Tarot, so similar to Jilly. I'll take that as a massive compliment, but no, I just do difficult sums, says Ferdiad. Lover for Saoirse, decision, oddly enough, in the early stage of what might be a relationship. Bit early though. Well, that's nice. I think the Lovers is an opportunity for you to put yourself first and not necessarily just do what other people expect from you. So it's nice to get that when there's a new relationship around. Roscoe also got the same. So 3 people have got the Eight of Wands so far, which is pretty cool. Making progress and building positive momentum. Interesting that we're in the Deacon of the Seven of Wands, so it's like working towards that 8 in a couple of weeks. Very nice. Same as Jilly says, Momentaro. Yep. The Seven of Cups reversed. So the Seven of Cups reversed is like the Netflix debacle, like struggling to make a choice. So if we're seeing this as an opportunity, then sometimes we need to have a wee moment where we have our head up our bum, and we just need, it's good to have that, just give ourselves a bit of a break, a bit of a mental break, an emotional break. But you could also read that as an opportunity to pull your head out of the clouds and to kind of become more, just gain a bit more certainty over things. So I'd be interested to see how you read that for your Seven of Cups reversed, Donna. I'll also be interested to know for Donna and Jilly and anyone else if any of the cards that you're pulling are the same as the cards that you pulled the last time you did the spread. Wasn't it until the 12th, says Simon, for the for the Lionsgate until the 12th. That was me joking about the Four of Swords, Chris, says Simon. Oh, did you pull the... I don't think I saw you say Four of Swords. Sorry, Simon. Oh, there you are. There you are. I've just realised there was obviously some chat before I posted the spread position. I only took up to the spread position, so sorry, you were the first one in there and I never even totally ignored you. Apologies. But Four of Swords is a nice opportunity to have around about you. It's obviously an opportunity to rest and recuperate and gain a wee bit of just mental calm back, is the way I would see that. So that's definitely sounds nice to me. We can also read the first card as a last couple of days thing, says Momentaro. Cards are always so literal, says Marita. Four of Cups, definitely not seeing it, but I know it's there somewhere. Just need to confront some of my feelings. So see if we, so I know what the Four of Cups normally looks like in a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but see if we look at the, look at the numerology. So now Simon did his video last weekend, earlier in the week, about numerology. If we look at the fours are about structure and stability, and the cups it's the suit of the unconscious, and through that we see what I would call the messengers of the unconscious. So these are things like our emotions, our dreams, our instincts, our intuition, our spirituality, all things like that are what I would call the messengers of the unconscious. So the unconscious is like the deepest, darkest part of ourself, and things like our emotions and our dreams and things are like an extension of that part, and then of course because as an extension of the emotions it talks about relationships and stuff as well. But if we look at it as like the suit of relationships and feelings and emotions, and we see the four as the stable number of structure, then you could read the Four of Cups as being about emotional stability, emotional structure. So if you're talking about confronting your emotions, that would suggest to me that you've maybe been feeling things have been feeling a bit, a lot on your plate lately, put it that way. And maybe that Four of Cups opportunity is just an opportunity to get a wee bit of, just get back to yourself, get your happy place back a wee bit. So there's always that, especially if things have been feeling a lot lately. Two of Swords for 30 odd. I think I saw that. That's crazy with the Eight of Wands. Yeah, three Eight of Wands. Don't argue with the reversals. I often think of the Eight of Wands as being lots of irons in the fire. And one thing that will really hit home, which is a very Lionsgate energy. No worries, I posted as you were typing it, says Simon. I'm on it tonight. Jelly says, yeah, I agree. And also directed energy, which I think is what's happening with me. Love it. The Seven of Cups in this deck is a giant head with all these distracting women all around. An opportunity to refocus, maybe, definitely. Chris is with Marita. And what does Lionsgate mean, please, asks Saoirse. Position 2. Find that again. Position 2 is the lock. So we had the gate and now we're looking at the lock. What fear or belief is holding me back? So when I pull my card, shows it has 30 seconds. Oh, look at that. After talking about the Four of Cups, after just talking about that, it's my next card that I pull. What are the fucking chances? I think I just manifested that bitch. Right, let me put this in the chat. And then, so 2 is the lock. I keep putting my phone over to the sides when I need it. Port. So holding me back. Okay. Alright, if anyone's watching on Instagram, feel free to join us at any time. You know, join in and pull cards. I've popped the positions in the chat, so hopefully you can see them. Okay, so my 4 of Cups, so what belief or what fear is holding me back? I mean, there is a bit of a fear of boredom for me. There's a bit of a fear of, I'm very kind of I like the novelty of things. And sometimes I struggle with that. So I'm very page-like in that respect. I can struggle with the staying power that's needed, you know, that night energy that can be needed. To me, when the novelty wears off, sometimes you know, things aren't maybe quite as good as what I thought they were, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's maybe a wee bit of a thing for me, and that's what this could be indicating. There's also, I mean, this has a bit of an air of disappointment about it, and I've always got a big fear of being a disappointment to others, of not kind of a, you know, I suppose in a way I might be a bit of a people pleaser, and maybe sometimes I don't like to let people down. So that's a bit of a fear, and that's always something that stopped me from going for things. So the inner critic for me quite often will say that you're not good enough to do that, or you know, you're just going to end up letting people down. Even like thinking about like doing this and reading cards at markets, there's always a fear that it's going to be, you know, that I'm not going to be able to perform. And like, to, you know, in terms of using cards at markets, like, that's not, for me, that's not about like, oh, like, because I don't mind just saying, oh, do you know what, this isn't, I'm just not connecting here, I just won't charge you. Like, that doesn't bother me, like, from a money point of view. What bothers me is the thought that I'm, you know, letting someone down, you know, that I'm not able to do what I wanted to do for them. So there's definitely a big fear of being a disappointment, and that does hold me back, I'll be honest. Oh, that was very vulnerable of me. Let me put the spotlight back on you guys. So Simon, I saw that you had got the 10 of Wands. There's also some people that answered Sorcerer's questions. The Lion's Gate is an astrological term describing the alignment of the Sun in Leo, the star Sirius, which is the brightest star as seen from the Earth, the constellation Orion's Belt, and the Earth. Technically it happens between July 28th and August 12th. The 10 of Wands, so Simon got the 10 of Wands, so I suppose there's maybe the fear of taking on a wee bit too much. I know that you know, one of the keywords for the 10 of Wands is oppression, Lord of Oppression, you know, for the Golden Dawn. So there's a bit of fear of maybe if I start this opportunity, if I was to start that, I would be tied into it, and I would be, you know, it would become a burden. So maybe that's, you know, maybe that's something that might hold you back a wee bit, a bit of a fear that might stop you. Or maybe it's like the fear of feeling like having to do it all yourself, you know. The 9 of Swords for Jilly. So your overthinking is what holds you back, Jilly. And I'm sure we got the same thing last week, didn't we? But you're overthinking and being overly harsh on yourself. Fear itself, So for third ad, it's temperance. So maybe a fear of coming across as being a wee bit bland, a wee bit too safe. So you've got your opportunity is to, rip the plaster off, make the decision, but then temperance. So I don't know how temperance and balance and that kind of thing could ever be a bad thing, and why anyone would fear balance. But to me, you might fear just being a bit beige, That's how I would kind of interpret that, as something to fear. I don't know, what do you think? You might see it differently. Rona's here. Hi, Rona. So Rona is my lovely friend. So Sandy plays. You've heard me talk about Sandy playing Lorcana before. So Sandy plays Lorcana with Rona's husband Errol. And Errol and Rona are a lovely, lovely couple of people, and they've got a beautiful wee daughter called Yumi, and Sandy and I are Yumi's ninongs, which means godfather in Filipino. So hi Rona, thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. It's lovely to see you. We're all just pulling cards together, but you can chat away. You don't need to pull cards to be here. Simon says, seriously, Alcento is amazing. Every time I use it, I spot the little extras that he puts into the images. The Page of Wands for Robin. So do I have enough confidence or maturity to pursue what I currently want? So Roscoe's got the Knight of Swords. Moomin Tarot's got the Six of Coins. We've got the Queen of Cups for Sorsha. Sorsha says fear of not having enough resources or money. Is it the Queen of Coins you've got, Sorsha? See the Knight of Swords. So Marita and Roscoe have both got the Knight of Swords for card 2. So how are we interpreting that as something to fear? I suppose there's a couple of ways of looking at that. The fear of things moving really quickly. The Knight of Swords is a fast moving, fast paced knight. And there's a lot expected of him because he's a knight, he's a person of action. The sword's been the intellectual suit. So, there's a lot expected of the Knight of Swords. So maybe there's a bit of a fear of having to meet those standards. But also, the Knight of Swords for me can sometimes come across as being quite toxic. That toxic masculinity energy that we don't really love too much. The Knight of Swords can kind of embody that. See that kind of a arrogant, obnoxious, know-it-all type energy. That is Knight of Swords energy, people. So, and I'll be honest, there's a part of me that can be quite, know-it-all-y. I need to rein it in, and I need to actively, be careful. It's one of my faults, and I know it is, and because of that I work on it, and I try and keep myself in check. But sometimes I can catch myself just saying things, and I'm like, Chris, you just said that to be a know-it-all. That didn't help anyone. All you did there was, you wanted people to know you knew. Do you know what I mean? So, and because of that, that can stop me from doing things, because it often will stop me from speaking when I want to speak, when I maybe, probably in fairness, do have something of value to bring. I'll maybe hold myself back sometimes because I'm like, no, I'm going to come across like a prick. I don't want to. Do you know what I mean? So maybe there's a bit of that there for you, Roscoe, Marita, or maybe you feel like it means something different. The picture reminds me of my Saturn and Taurus, says Marita. Jelly says, the Lionsgate is a really good time to manifest, connect with ancestors. It's really good time for personal and spiritual growth. Fear of disappointment, says Robin. Do they have Viagra for tarot readers? The Eight of Swords reversed for Donna. The fear that's holding me back is the fear of being held back. I mean, yeah, see, the fear, and the Eight of Swords reversed. So the Eight of Swords, your job is to say, right, okay, I realise I'm in this situation, but also I can see the tools that are around about me that I can use to get myself out. And what can often hold us back from removing ourselves from that prison, from that situation, is knowing that the next thing that comes is the Nine of Swords. It's dealing with the shit, it's dealing with the fallout. That is a big fear with the Eight of Swords reverse. So to me, when a card reverses, you're like blocking yourself in that place because you don't want to deal with what comes next. So I suppose it's a bit of a fear of having to deal with the high mental energy, the anxiety of the Nine of Swords. And because of that, you block yourself in that kind of a Eight of Swords place. People are saying hi to our lovely Rona. Saoirse's got the Queen of Coins. It's valuing myself. That is changing though. And Jilly says, overthink, really? Me? The Wheel of Fortune for APOC, so I'm scared of changes and some uncertainties, locked into my comfort zone. Tough shuffle, Eight of Wands, sideways. Okay, I've not heard that before, Chris, but interesting. Eight of Wands sideways. Is it sideways where the wands are going up the way? Is it a card that's got 8 wands flying through the air? Because not all of them do. And if it's sideways, are they going up or are they going down? I'm interested to know. What direction are they going in? The peregrine falcon is flying towards the ground or me. Okay, so going down towards the ground. The arrows are in the wings. Weirdly, it's giving me Eight of Swords energy. Delays or movement, attitude or planning. So sometimes we fear our own success. We're scared to move fast because we don't want to move too fast in the wrong direction and end up going splat into the ground. And we hold ourselves back from that reason. We know that we have a lot of potential and we know we can do so much more, but it's like I'm scared that if I start living up to my full potential, I don't know where it's going to take me. I can't see where I'm going and I could end up flat on my face. That's the way I would read that. Fear of being unexceptional, says Marita. Verdiad says, I'm wondering if it's about perfectionism, fear in taking action until you've got the perfect balance, being overly cautious. For temperance, yeah, absolutely. The Empress for Trisha, the fear of new possibilities, maybe the possibilities of starting what would be a new chapter, new life, fear of growth. The fear of, I learned, so the Deviant Moon has a really interesting, when you read what Patrick Valenza says about the Empress and the Deviant Moon, he actually talks about just the Empress generally is like, he spends a bit of time exploring the idea of like, she, there's a bit of fear in her because she's now got responsibility for this thing that she's created. Think about all your tarot decks that depict the Empress as like a pregnant woman. Think about how scary that is to get through. I mean, what do I know? I've never been pregnant, but for anyone that has been, think about what a scary experience that is. Think about that, how scary it's not just the idea of going through pregnancy and birth, but also 18 years you're going to be responsible for this child. One of my favourite quotes that I need to share with you is from Will and Grace. It's Karen Walker. She's trying to describe something that's amazing, something that's really pleasant and really rewarding. and she says, "Oh, it's amazing. It's like I can't remember if she says it's like pregnancy or it's like childbirth." Um, she's like, "It's a really rewarding experience. It's like childbirth, but without the unpleasant child at the end." So, and that really, I just absolutely love that quote. Um, sorry, used like anyone that knows me knows that I don't think children are unpleasant, but I still just love that. Always makes me laugh. Anyway, sorry. So the Empress. So there's with the Empress, there's the fear of like, you know, right, okay, I'm going to create something, that I've got an opportunity to create something, to start something anew, but I'm a bit scared about, you know, am I locking myself in here? I'm going to be responsible for this thing. I'm scared to start this new business because, you know, what does my life look like after that? I'm scared to have a child because, you know, that's me, that I'm now responsible for this thing and not just myself anymore. You know, whatever it might be, whatever the creative thing that you're doing might be, like Jilly's scared about the Crone's Compass because, you know, people are maybe going to expect things, or, you know, I've got a fear of like, I really want to do really well for people and I want it to do really well, I want to do a good job. And what does it look like when it's off and running? You know, there's always going to be that fear about, you know, about that Empress energy. And anyway, as I say, Patrick Valenza explores that really well in the Deviant Moon deck. Ronna says, hello, learning about tarot now. We need to get you a wee tarot deck, Ronna, so you can pull cards along with us. It's just great content, thank you. It's very kind of you. And Jelly says that's exciting. Simon says, hi Ronna, enjoy the learning. Roscoe says, Chris, do you interpret nights as being fire or air elementally? Wondered which school of thought you were in on that one. For me, they are fire. The knights are the active component of the court. They are the ones that get shit done. They are, you know, out there on their horses, expending lots of energy, doing stuff, creating stuff, doing the work. They're the worker bees. They are the, you know, they are where all the energy is, and for that reason, for me, they are very like clearly fire. To me, I know that lots of people see the kings as fire, but the kings have that social responsibility aspect to them. They are responsible for managing the whole kind of a thing, for overseeing, for looking at the bigger picture, and for making sure that things are running smoothly. So not only do they need to kind of know how to act and what to do, but they need to have that intellectual view. They need to see, you know, have that bigger picture view. And for me, that's where the intellect comes in. That's where air comes in. And that's why I assign them that way. I'm not by any means saying that that's the only way or the right way. I know that different people do see it in different ways, and it's totally valid. But that's what worked for me in my brain. Ronna says, very informative. I'm glad you'll learn something. Marita says, pregnancy is quite frightening. Roscoe, depending on the tradition, I think pages in the east, spring, beginning things, nights in the south, summer, taking action, queens in the west, autumn, things coming to fruition, and kings in the north, winter, stability. Having new responsibilities, says Trisha. Karen Walker is the best, says Momentaro. Very interesting, haven't come across that before. Thanks for sharing, says Roscoe. Oh, to Ferdiad. Oh, with the kind of a east, west, south, north. I said that really weird there. Karen Walker is the ultimate sassy vixen. Yeah, she's like the original shady bitch, isn't she? I love it. And she'll always be one of my favourite characters, says Trisha. I like that. It's Kings to the North. I'll be waiting for my tarot cards now, says Ronna. Ronna, Ronna and Errol are in the process of moving to Austria. So I know that Errol's away over. Ronna, when is it that you move over? Are you there yet? Right, we should move on, otherwise we're going to be here all night. So position 3 is the key. What inner strength helps me move forward? So I'm going to do this. Oh, I've got the world. Let's move you over and pop you in the middle there. What inner strength helps me move forward? The key. You got the key. And as well. So what inner strength helps me move forwards? So I've got the world, which is interesting. I suppose ultimately when I'm established and I feel like I know what I'm doing, I'm able to gather a bit of confidence in myself. The example that I'll use is like public speaking. So see, public speaking is something that's scary. You know, it's always going to be a scary thing to do. But see, if I know what I'm talking about and I'm confident in what I'm talking about, it's something that I can do and I can do reasonably well. I suppose this is kind of like public speaking. I cover my mum's Slimming World groups when she's on holiday, and I can do that fine because I kind of know how the group format and I know what I'm talking about. I can speak in front of teams in my work. So it's something that I can do when I know what I'm doing, if that makes sense. I can do it reasonably confidently. So once I'm established, I'm able to use my confidence to my advantage. Once I've got that belief in myself, I'm able to have that confidence. That's maybe how I'll read this, and I can use that to kind of drive me, and I hate talking about my own strengths. It actually makes me feel quite uncomfortable, but I can, what am I trying to say? So I can get my passion across. If I'm passionate about something, I can portray that passion to others quite well. You know, I can get them like lit up about something if I'm passionate about it. Okay, Jelly's got the Hermit. So your strength is your wisdom, you know, your crone. There it is. It's your inner crone, your inner wisdom, the fact that you know all of this stuff and it's all within you. You're not going away to the books to find stuff to put in these things. It's all coming from you and it's all authentic and it's all you. And that is your strength, Jelly. Excuse me. The Two of Cups for Donna. So it might be that there's a partnership around you that you draw a lot of strength from, that enables you to do quite a lot. Equally it could be talking about your ability to connect with other people and bring other people on board, and have them emotionally invested in what it is that you're doing, that you want to do. It's a strength that you've got. The Knight of Cups, for Robin. So my emotional state can move me forward but can also hold me back. I mean, our strengths are pretty much always a double-edged sword. So I'm talking about how I can have confidence. That can quite easily, I was talking about it there, that can quite easily come across as arrogance and is quite obnoxious. So, and like you say, like your Knight of Cups, as much as it can drive you forward, it can easily bring you back as well. So I think as much as we're all talking about our strengths, we're probably all, you know, these are all things that could be double-edged swords for us and stuff that we need to watch. I imagine that'd be quite common across the board. The Two of Scrolls, which is the swords card for Moomin Tarot. So maybe you've got a natural ability to, you know, take the emotion out of a situation and make a logical decision, which is a, you know, a strength that lots of people don't have. The Ace of Rods or the Ace of Wands for Ferdiad. It's a strength that you've got. You seem to have this natural charisma and enthusiasm about you. Maybe you've got a strength for new ideas and starting new things. Rona has to go. It was lovely catching you live. Thank you so much for popping in, Rona. It was lovely to see you. Lots of love to Errol and Yumi and your mum and dad and everyone else. I hope everyone's doing okay. So for the key, Roscoe has got the King of Wands, the ability to show integrity and find inner inspiration to drive myself forward. I love that. You have a strong inner world. Your imagination is your strength. So that was for my world, yeah. Trisha says the Nine of Swords. I guess digging deep and just finding the inner strength to go on. Maybe convincing myself that this is the last challenge or last mountain to climb, so battle on. Maybe. Let's see, Four of Cups for Chris, so it's a nautilus shell. I know these shells from diving. They're deep sea creatures. The cup seems stable over the other three. Wow, this is a meaningful spread. I'm glad. Just love the colours in the Morgan Greer. I know, they are beautiful, aren't they? Okay, let's march on to card 4. Oh, hi Jen, and don't worry about being late. Card 4 is the Lion. Where am I being asked to show up more boldly? So where am I being asked to show up more boldly? Oh, look at the Emperor, look at that. Let's move these things over. Try to do this so as you, on YouTube, you can still see all the cards. And on Instagram, I can have it so that the card I'm currently talking about is kind of a front and centre. Okay, so for... I've done it again with my phone, I put it over to the side. 4 is the Lion. So where am I being asked to show up more boldly? For me, it's the Emperor. So I need to be more bold and being the Emperor. So I suppose that might be calling me out on my... Sometimes I can be a wee bit scatterbrained and be a wee bit all over the place. So maybe I need to be more directed, intentional, meaningful about how I'm organising things. So if that we're looking at all of this as some sort of opportunity that's around about me that I can take up, I need to be more bold about grabbing that bull by the horns and, you know, like actually like managing the thing through. So I talked about how I can be quite page-like and that novelty thing. So maybe I'm being asked to be more bold about sticking with the thing and having that staying power, having that kind of an emperor-like structure and control about things. Sometimes when we use words like control, our minds automatically go to negative, but I think we all need structure and we all need control in our lives, otherwise things just go to pot a bit, you know, things just feel chaotic. we all need a certain level of structure, and everyone's need for structure is different, I grant you. But yeah, maybe I'm just need to be a bit more bold about bringing that structure in and being accountable for that structure, you know. The devil for Donna. So maybe if we see the devil, what was the question? When am I being asked to show up more boldly? This could be about things that, you know, like kind of a devil type things that we, you know, tend to think about as being associated with the devil. So unhealthy patterns, you know, that we tend to associate with the devil. So it could be that you're being asked to show up for yourself and be honest with yourself about some of these unhealthy things that might be associated with the devil. But equally, it could also be, I mean, for me, the devil at its core, it's always about desire, you know. It's always about unbridled desire. And it could be that you're being asked to show up more boldly in terms of your own desires, you know, show up more boldly for yourself type thing. The Knight of Stones, which is coins, says Momentaro. Okay, I would think of the Knight of Coins as being the least bold of the knights, because he's very slow and steady, wins the race, very intentional, very full of purpose. When he acts, you know that he's thought about what it is that he's doing. And in terms of being bold, he's probably the least bold for that reason, because he is so considerate. So that's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Maybe you're bold enough as it is, and maybe it's telling you to have that Knight of Pentacles, like, you know, maybe you're the, you know, maybe it's good just the way it is. Maybe it's being more bold about, oh, I've lost it. There was something that came into my mind to say there, and it's kind of gone. So if we see the Knight of Pentacles as being about, you know, being thoughtful and considered about how you're doing things, maybe it's just about being more bold in how you're doing that. Sometimes the Knight of Pentacles' issues, he's not bold enough. So maybe it's just showing up with that kind of a, no, I'm here and this is what I'm doing, and, you know, I don't know. I don't feel like I connected very well to that, to be honest with you, but you can tell me what you think about the position. We've got the Nine of Pentacles for Ferdiad, so be more bold about shamelessly enjoying the stuff that you've worked hard to build. Treat yourself. The Three of Pentacles for Roscoe, so be more bold in the ways that I collaborate with others, work together while making my own voice heard as an equal contributor. Yeah, being more bold in your Three of Pentacles area is definitely like don't be don't be the guy who's not heard from. Like, have your say. Definitely. Show up and, you know, do it for yourself type thing, you know. Nine of Wands, defending my boundaries, letting through what I want and keeping out what I don't want, says Robin. Two of Pentacles for Marita, so prioritising and being more bold about, like, you know, putting, again, I know I've said this already to others, but putting yourself first and being more bold about saying no, you know, saying no to people. No, I'm not. I'm already juggling 10 balls. I'm not taking on another one, you know. Be more comfortable saying no. Be more ballsy, says Jen. The Moon for Trisha. Temperance for Chris. Be more bold about temperance. Again, like, temperance is showing up in a funny position, because you wouldn't associate temperance with being bold. You would associate temperance as, like, the opposite, you know. being tempered, so it's like not being bold. It's like maintaining that balance all the time. Interesting. Being more boldly temperate, says Marita. So Chris says it's a crab, and the only markers I have in Cancer is Chiron. I'm confused on that one. Yeah, it would be quite good to see the card and see what it looks like. Maybe it's just saying, maybe you are that temperance card right now in this situation that we're talking about. So, like, temperance is very, like, very, like, I've got 1 foot in the water, I've got 1 foot out. Everything is very imbalanced. Everything's very kind of in moderation. It's just the right amount. And, because of that, temperance can be a wee bit perfectionist, So maybe it's just about being a bit more bold and that, do you know what, maybe I'll make a mistake, but that's okay because I'll learn from my mistakes. Maybe it's just being a bit more bold and that, instead of being like temperance where everything's covered up and everything's being carefully poured from one cup to the other, I'm going to be like more like the Star. My tits are coming out. I'm just pouring that water out all over the joint. Like no, but do you know what I mean? Just having that kind of a, like, who gives a fuck type about you. Maybe it's that you need to be more bold about. Like, don't be scared to break a few eggs, that type of message. So far all my cards have been different from last time, but interestingly position 4 was the Hierophant reverse last time, says Donna. I appreciate that interpretation, says Marita. That rings true. In the chrysalis it says the Knight of Stones is about spontaneity in contrast with being too cautious. Chiron is the wounded healer, says Jen. Sometimes you have to be bold to maintain balance. It's easy to slip into habits of letting situations deviate too much in one direction or focusing too much energy in one place. Takes courage. And people are laughing because I said tits out. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, when you look at Temperance and the Star next to each other, they're very similar in that, I mean, I'm talking about the Smith weight, but in a lot of decks, like, they're very similar in that, they're both got like 2 things of water and they're both being poured in some way, and like they kind of, it looks like they're in a similar garden type setting, but the Star is just so much more free and carefree, and the Star is naked where Temperance is clothed. The Star is usually kind of a kneeling down or like kind of a in some sort of position, whereas Temperance is standing in a very kind of an intentional way. In the Star, the water's being poured onto the ground and into the pond. In Temperance, it's been poured very carefully from one vessel into the other, So Temperance is just a lot more uptight, and then the Star is just so much more free. And I'm making that sound as though Temperance is a bad card, and we know that it's obviously not. We all need a wee bit of balance in our lives, a lot of balance in our lives. But when you compare the two, that's where I'm getting that from. Bold Temperance could be being sure your measured approach will get the results that you want. Don't let others railroad you into taking unmeasured action that you're not happy with. Be happy and control. And the Star is earthly energy, Temperance is holy. Okay. And the final position is the Crown. What does my higher self want me to know? What does my higher self want me to know? Oh. The Hierophant. That'll fit there. Hopefully you'll be able to see that on Insta. So what does my higher self want me to know? To me, the Hierophant is the teacher of the deck. It's about connecting to others, disseminating knowledge, passing down wisdom and knowledge and stuff like that. And for me, it's important that it's not being done in a dogmatic or controlling way. I know that, you know, some Hierophant figures that we see in some of these cards can represent very dogmatic and some potentially not nice institutions, you know, just depending on your viewpoint. But for me, that it's about being conscious to not be that, to be that wise teacher, that helpful, nurturing, presence. Yeah. Interesting. I got 3 majors and a 5-card spread. Now, what are the chances of that? Okay. We got the Knight of Cups from Ferdiad. Excuse me. So your higher self wants you to know. Knight of Cups energy. So that's all about being active in the world of emotions and connections with other people. So I suppose it wants you to know that you're very much a people person. You do connect really well to other people, and people probably really cherish your, you know, just like whatever kind of relationship that they have with you. Ace of Cups for Jilly. So your higher self wants you to know, I suppose, for me, Ace of Cups always harkens back to RuPaul's words, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love someone else? So the Ace of Cups, it all starts with loving yourself, and I always see that as a card about replenishing your own cup, looking after yourself. So the Ace of Cups wants you to know that, you know, your self-care always has to come first. You always have to put your own seatbelt on first before you turn around and put someone else's on. Pulling strings behind the curtain. It says Jen, so for my Hierophant. Marita's also got the Hierophant. Dora's got the Sun. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm yawning in your faces. And for the Crown, Roscoe's got the Two of Wands, so look for the possibilities around me that may not always be immediately obvious. And be willing to explore those deeper, willing to explore things, willing to practice things, you know. The Two of Wands for me is about preparation. You know, we see the person looking at the globe, looking at the representation of the world in their hand, and that's so they can make a plan. They're looking at that thing in their hand and then they look out at the world in front of them, you know. So to me, the Two of Wands, it's about building the opportunity, it's about building your portal, it's about planning, you know, exploring, preparation, practicing, you know. So again, like what I was saying to someone else earlier, like don't be scared to break some eggs. Learning that, getting a little selfish about it in my older years, like we all need to be a bit selfish. Chris has got the World, so the koi fish swimming around the World, very Pisces, almost confirms what you said about temperance. The World tells you you're right where you need to be, by the way. Like, The World is the last card of the Major Arcana. It is the culmination of your, of everything that you've worked towards coming to fruition. That's what that represents. So it's telling you like you're right where you're supposed to be, and that's especially helpful to see when we have those moments when we doubt ourselves, and I'm sure we all have them. We all have those moments where it's like, oh, I feel like I should be in a much different place than what I am. We're really hard on ourselves sometimes, and we just, our own expectation, like, it's very hard for us to meet our own expectations, and I just think the World coming up there tells you you're doing great, you're doing a good job, this is your story, this is your journey. It doesn't have to match up against anything or anyone else. So be confident in yourself and be happy with where you are. Everything, you're the sum of all your experiences, so everything that you've been through to get to this point has it's part of who you are. Even the really shitty things, you learn from it, and they make you better in the long run. So yeah, that's how I would read that World. Robin's got the Magician. I already have the ability to pursue and attain everything that I want. Marita, I like this one. He's harvesting mistletoe. Very nice. And Mimentaro's got the Two of Spirals, which is the Two of Wands as well as Roscoe. So again, creating those opportunities. So maybe if you've got the Two of Wands, maybe it's saying like it's up to you to build your own portal. It's up to you to create your own opportunities. Something's not going to come along one day and just hand you everything. You need to build it yourself. You need to do it yourself. Yeah. Okay. We're now at 20 past 11. So I think, yeah, we've been going for just over 2 hours. Let me know what you think of the new format. Let me know how audio is, how the picture is. Like, can you see everything okay? I can see what you're seeing, but I just mean like kind of a picture quality wise. I appreciate that, having me in the middle is maybe a wee bit weird, a wee bit different, not what you're used to. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you're not already in there, then please join the Facebook group, Elemental Cartomancers. If someone wants to put a wee link in the chat to that would be great. Do please come and join and share your spread if you're not there already. So take a picture and post it in the in the group. If someone would be able to post another link to the Crohn's Compass where you can get it, please do have a look and consider supporting this amazing lady and benefiting from this fantastic resource. Is there anything else that I wanted to tell you? I suppose I just want to love yous and leave yous. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your week and a great weekend. Take care, and I will see you all later. Bye everyone. We're going to try and stop the stream and see how this goes. So yeah, let's see. I'll stop streaming now.